Hi, Cheryl from Unravelled here, and I am going to show you how we do the German short rows and the Raglan increases for the Mini Luxe tee, which is a gorgeous, warm, cozy, quite luxurious garment for toddlers and children. And we're knitting two yarns together. We're knitting a kid silk mohair together with a merino, a DK merino. So this is like a midwinter vest. So you'd wear like a cute little, it's only short sleeve just to make it easier for kids. You'd wear a cute little merino or something underneath that. And this one obviously is in the dark green. So that's a completed one, and I am doing these two colours together. So we're starting at the neck, so top down. I've already done my ribbing and I have started the short rows. So before we start the short rows, we have to place our markers after the ribbing. The first round is to set up the markers, and each marker shows us where we're doing a raglan increase. So we have 4 that are blue in this case for my 4 raglan increases. And then this yellow one, which is my beginning of round marker, which is in the centre of the back of the Mini Luxe tee. So first of all, we are going to do the raglan increases. So we knit across to 1 stitch before that next marker. So the first 2 markers are on each side of the sleeve, so I'm knitting one half of the back first, so I'm doing the half back stitches across to the first sleeve marker, and as the pattern says, I'm going to stop 1 stitch before that marker, so right here, and I'm going to make one right. So to do that, I tend to use my right hand tip to lift up that leg between those 2 stitches, but you can also use your left hand tip, whatever is more convenient for you. Because I'm doing a make one right, the left hand tip will go in from the back of that leg to lift it up in the correct position. If you're using the right hand tip, I just lift it up and then put it onto the left tip like that. So once again, or if you're doing it this way where you're just using the left hand tip, you go under from the back and lift it. And then we're knitting into the front of that for a make one right. The next stitch is just a knit. We slip that first raglan marker. The next stitch is a knit, or the stitch after the marker is a knit. And now we're doing a make one left. So we're taking our left tip and bringing it round the front and lifting that leg between the 2 stitches, and then knitting into the back of that. So that is a make one left, so that's our first raglan increase. So then I'm continuing on to the next raglan marker, and we'll stop 1 stitch before that one. This is beautiful to knit, actually, these 2 strands of yarn together. Just feels really soft and beautiful. Okay, so coming up again, we're going to stop 1 stitch before the raglan marker and do a make one right. So once again, underneath, lifting up that leg into the front, knit 1 stitch, slip the marker from left to right, knit the next stitch, and now we're doing a make one left, so we're taking that tip around into the front, knitting into the back of the stitch for a make one left. And now we've completed 2 raglan increases. And because this is a German short row as well, we are coming up to where I did a double stitch, which is what we do in German short rows. We create these things called double stitches, which is exactly what they look like. It looks like 2 stitches together. So because I've already created that, I'm just going to knit that. We always knit them as 1 stitch when we come up to them, and then I am knitting 2 stitches beyond that to do my next double stitch. Right, so I am ready to do a double stitch now. So in order to do that, I flip my work over to the wrong side. So this is how we do a German short row. I am slipping that first stitch, so I'm on the wrong side or the purl side, slipping that first stitch from left to right, purlwise, so my needle goes up through the front, slip that, and now to create the double stitch we're pulling the yarn up and wrapping it round and back to the purl position. And now we're working back across our stitches all the way back to the beginning of round marker. Just coming up to the beginning of round marker. So here it is. So we're just going to slip that from the left to the right and continue on, and we are going to do raglan increases again on the other side, so 2 raglan increases. So we're just going to purl across to the first raglan marker and stop 1 stitch before that. Okay, so here we go. Now because we're on the purl side or the wrong side of our work, we do this slightly different. So we're doing a make one right purl. So the needle goes up through that leg, lifting it onto the left needle, and this time we purl into the front of that stitch. And then purl the next stitch, slip the raglan marker, purl the next stitch, and now we're doing a make one left purl. So take the left tip round and lift that leg up if you can. Now this is slightly tricky, right, to get the purl stitch from the back there, so you can just hold it there and move the yarn over and then slip your right tip into the stitch and purl it. I'll show you that again in a minute. Right, so now purl across to the next raglan marker. Okay, here we go, 1 stitch before, make one right purl. So left hip lifts up that leg from the back and we're purling into the front of that stitch. Purl 1, slip the marker, purl the one after, and now lifting that leg up from the front so that we can, I don't know why it's awkward, so that we can do a purl, make one left purl. So again, I'm just going to move that strand across so I can get the needle into the back, knitting and purling into the back of that stitch. So that's a make one left purl. And again, we're doing short rows, so I am just going to purl to my double stitch from the previous short row, which is coming up here. So there it is. Looks like 2 stitches, but it's just 1. We'll purl that as if it's 1. And we are purling 2 more past that double stitch. Okay, turning our work, so flipping it over to the right side of our work. Making sure our yarn is at the front as we slip that first stitch from left to right, purlwise. And then we're doing a double stitch on the right side, so a knit side of our work. So just to do that, we just go into the first stitch and then pull the yarn up and knit, and that creates that double stitch. And now we're going to knit back to our beginning of round marker. And that is how we do the raglan increases and the short rows when we have those two happening at the same time. So I should have mentioned earlier actually, the short rows are so that we have a lower neckline at the front and a higher neckline at the back, because we're working across those stitches, so we're creating more rows, if you like, at the back of our work, so that that neckline is higher than what we've got in the front, which is just here, which we haven't actually got any rows on yet. So that's how it's done, and you'll see it more clearly on this completed one. So we've got, see how the neckline drops a bit at the front? It's just enough, oops, sorry, it's just enough that yeah, it doesn't kind of irritate around the neck. Okay, so that is how we do the German short rows and the raglan increases together on our Mini Luxe tee. Thanks for watching.